Hey, good morning. Check out my new hat. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1319. Happy Monday. I'm late and I'm tired. First world problems. I'm so tired because I spent all weekend at card shops and card shows and experiencing an authentic Oklahoma tornado. So it was what a weekend. What a weekend. I'm back. I'm tired, and it's a lot of shipping to do. Let's see. Cooter and I talked about this over the weekend. Like, how many orders do you have to ship? And we didn't get to 500. 451 orders to ship. Yesterday, it was looking like ooh, I'm probably going to be over 500 orders by Hobby Evolution Monday morning, but didn't quite get there. Still had wonderful sales weekend. A lot of that boosted by the Allen and Ginter singles, which, by the way, the biggest hits from my Allen and Ginter rip last week, they are up for auction. I decided, I think Saturday night, after we got back from the Dallas card show, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to list these. I'm going to flip these to auction. I went to 3-day auction, so they end Monday night, as opposed to waiting an entire week. So the auctions, there's a Pete Alonso orange refractor up for grabs. There's a mini metal, framed mini metal. I think the print run, they're not serial numbered, but I think there's only a print run of 3 on those. This is Louis Matos from the Giants. There is a Daddy Yankee autograph. And what's the fourth? There's a fourth auction. Was my other hit. It was so memorable, I can't remember. So those auctions end tonight. So just, I think 4 auctions end tonight. Of course, tomorrow night is Tuesday, a huge day in America. eBay Auction Tuesday. Get your bid in. Please bid. Please. If you do nothing else tomorrow, bid on my auctions. Auction Tuesday. And we'll stream live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, and watch the final countdown to those eBay auctions. There you see it, 99centcards.com. Eventually, I'll get some inventory in from what I picked up over the weekend. A great buying weekend, a great fun weekend. We're going to talk all about it today. I'm rocking an Oklahoma City 89ers cap that Cooter gave me. Thank you, Cooter. Let me tell you something. This weekend was an absolute blast. And when you go and you stay with a stranger, somebody you met on the internet from somebody hosting you, Cooter, and me just going to Oklahoma City, hanging out with somebody I've never met before. It was like we had been childhood friends. And I think part of that was as Cooter picked me up and he's kind of showing me around Oklahoma City. And he's like, that used to be a grocery store where we bought our packs of cards and we'd go over there and rip, and there's the baseball field. So I felt like, as he's pointing out all of these locations, I could picture, like myself as a kid, if I were, opening baseball cards and playing baseball and all that in Oklahoma City. So we had a blast and just hanging out, nerding out over cards for 3 days, basically. And it was just an absolute blast. I can't thank Cooter enough for the hospitality, for bringing a stranger from the internet into his home for 3 days, toting me around to Dallas and card shops around Oklahoma City, and calling me at 2 a.m., letting me know there's tornadoes in the area. And that was an authentic, I really got the authentic Oklahoma experience at 1:30 in the morning, early Sunday morning. I'm like dead tired. Here it is, first world problems. I'm dead tired. Why? Well, I had to wake up early to fly to Oklahoma City to go look at baseball cards all weekend and go to the Dallas card show. And I'm so tired. Oh, boo-hoo, Bo. Boo-hoo. So I think that was like the whole weekend was awesome. But I think the cherry on top was that I got to experience, and I feel bad saying like what an experience because people's lives were upended. So I do feel bad. But it truly was an authentic Oklahoma experience. Brian tried to warn me about those storms, and it's like, oh it's just severe thunderstorms. It hit pretty hard. An F3 tornado went through, I think Cooter said about 8 miles from his neighborhood. And it leveled a couple neighborhoods out there. So, man, I was in a deep sleep. 1:30 in the morning. You know, your phone goes off, and phone goes off, and it's like tornado warning, and I'm like, oh shit, this ain't cool. Because I like in Wisconsin, if I wake up to a tornado warning, I just put the phone back down and go back to bed because it's just not a thing here. I mean, we get tornadoes, but we don't get Oklahoma tornadoes. Tornadoes aren't like barbecue, Max. Not all tornadoes are the same. I'll talk about the Texas barbecue. So I'm still thinking about that Texas barbecue. So tornado warning goes off, and right after the tornado warning goes off, Cooter's calling me, and he goes, hey, so there's a tornado warning, and I'm like, yeah, I saw that. Woke me up. So he and the sophistication of tornado prediction in Oklahoma is like off the charts. Like here, it's like the sirens go off in Dane County. Dane County, geographically, from a square mileage standpoint, is a pretty large county. So if there's and we're still like, it's almost like we're still living in the 50s. Well, Doppler radar indicates a tornado in Dane County. Well, shit, if it's on the south end of Dane County and we're up, on the somewhat north, it's not even close. It's not even close. Like, shit, that's 20 miles away. We're not even close to that tornado, but there's a warning in Dane County. There's a tornado in Dane County. Oh no. It's like that. You look at the map, it's like, oh shit, we can go out and hang out in the backyard. It's all good up here. And they have in Oklahoma there, it's like down to the neighborhood and by the streets. It's like, okay, if it hits May Avenue, or if it crosses May Avenue, we're in trouble. But it went east or whatever. So we were in the clear. So he's like, you can come over to the basement. He goes, I don't think, unless it shifts, we're going to be good here. And I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm like, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I was so tired. I didn't realize like, oh shit, it's not a Wisconsin tornado. But if Cooter's telling me it's okay, if Cooter was like, hey, you need to get the hell over here now so we can go to the basement, then I would have been like, okay, yes, sir, I am on my way. And I'm bringing my backpack with baseball cards with it. But it was all good. So, and I ended up staying up. It's like, I just want to go back to bed. Like, that was my thought. It's like, okay, the sirens are going off, like not in the neighborhood, but like Oklahoma City sirens were going off, a little south of us. And, so the sirens are going off, and I'm like, well, shit. So I look up, I'm on YouTube, and I'm watching Max Velocity. What a name, Max Velocity. And it was very entertaining. And so from like 1:30 to 3:30 in the morning, I am consuming YouTube storm chaser type content from Max Velocity. And so that was in Oklahoma. And that wasn't all. And that's not all. That wasn't my only Oklahoma. Now it wasn't the same as the early morning tornadoes, but we're hanging out on Sunday at the card shop, Kirby's, and we're digging through dollar boxes. All of a sudden, my phone alarm goes off, and it's a tornado warning, and it doesn't say like where. So Cooter looks at the map, and he's like, "Oh shit, that's coming right for us. We better go." I'm like, "Okay, yes, sir." So we checked out. I filled like how many cards? I think I bought what I end up with over 600 cards, 500 cards, 500 and some. I bought about 500 some cards yesterday at the card shop. I didn't bring anything in to show you except for the hat. I'll do a show and tell tomorrow morning because I'm late, obviously. But I didn't get in till like 2. I didn't get home till almost 2 a.m. last night. So, and then Ernie kept me up because he missed me and had a lot of doggy kisses for about a half an hour before he settled down. He's like, shit, it's 2 a.m. Okay, it's time to go to bed. So we left the card shop, went back, watched coverage, and it was I think they just dissipated. I think they ended up going off in a different direction and just kind of dissipated anyway. So good to hear. But I heard there were more sirens that went off early morning this morning, and I'm out of there. I did watch. I did get some sleep on the plane last night. I slept for about an hour. Short flights. I mean, the Oklahoma City to Dallas flight's like 45 minutes. I think, it was a little longer last night because they had to go around the storms. So it might have been an hour and 15. And my flight was, I was only delayed like an hour. And so I think it was like right at 1 hour. Once I landed, it was about a 1 hour, which is simple. And then I slept a little bit on the flight from Dallas to Madison and woke up and it's like, oh, there's like 35, 40 minutes left of the flight. Now I'm awake. So I look at the in-flight movies they have and guess what one of the in-flight movies is? Twisters, the new one. And I've been wanting to watch this one. I'm like, shit, I've only got 40 minutes left. I don't think it's available for streaming yet. You can pay for it, but I'm not going to pay for it. So I'd rather spend that money on baseball cards. So I did watch like the first half hour of the movie, and it looks like I thoroughly enjoyed the first 30 minutes of Twisters. So I'll have to once it becomes a free movie, I'll go back and watch it. So I was up dark and early on Friday morning. My alarm went off at 4 a.m. Got to the airport and well, I told you, I shared this story we did the on the road segment. So I told you about our Friday. So that was all good. Easy flights, got in, Cooter gave me a tour of Oklahoma City. What I was surprised, and I probably mentioned this on Saturday also, but what I think I was most surprised about Oklahoma City was how nice the downtown is. Like it's a very like up and coming, like new development. Like they've torn down old buildings or they've just refurbished old buildings to make them, look hip. It's got a cool look to it. So I was pretty impressed by the downtown area. So then we had pizza that had the Buc-Cees. It's like, come on, we're in Oklahoma. I gotta have the Buc-Cees. So we had the Buc-Cees, and that was good. And then Saturday, the Dallas Card Show. So I haven't talked about the Dallas Card Show. So I'll give you a quick primer. We'll go say hi, and then we'll finish Dallas Card Show talk. So we get to Dallas. We find Uncle Rich. He had our passes for the show. Thank you. Shout out Uncle Rich for your hospitality as well. And at the Dallas show, we couldn't find him. Cooter tried calling him. And we're in the Starlight room, and all of a sudden I look over, and I'm like, you just got to find where the bargain boxes are. And there's Uncle Rich sitting at the bargain boxes. So we found him, got our passes, and then kind of walked around the Starlight, went into the main room, and found my buddy Shane and Dr. Beckett. They were looking at bargain boxes. We got our Dr. Beckett cards signed. So I'll thank Dr. Beckett for that, and Cooter, because Cooter bought the Dr. Beckett card that I sold on eBay and then gave it back to me to get it signed. So now it'll go into my collection, into my and I think I picked up a couple things for my personal collection. So I've got like kind of a side piece. It's not really, I don't go out and actively look for these types of cards, but when I come across them, I buy them. So it's like athletes I covered when I worked in radio, or, people I know like Dr. Beckett and Uncle Rich. So it's cards that I have that personal connection, and it's usually just autographs. Like when I'm going through dollar boxes of autographs. And so I think I found a couple Friday in the bargain boxes or in the dollar minor league autograph boxes at the card shop. And so I've got kind of a side PC. It's not even like I've got cards in multiple random places from that. I need to get it curated, so I have it to add more to it when the time comes. So that was the beginning of the card show. So I wanted to submit. I wanted to submit the Bo Superfractor, and I took a couple of the base cards, signed base cards, to get those slabbed also from PSA. So I saw PSA like right there by the bargain boxes. So I go sit by the guy, and I'm like, he looks at the card and he's like, "Oh no, this can't be graded." I'm like, "Well, no." I'm like, "Well, is Chris Carlin here?" He's like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "You don't know who Chris Carlin is?" He's like, "No." Like, he's like, "I know who like the upper people are." I'm like, "Well, he is like one of the upper people." And he's like, I don't know who he is. And he won't be here at the show today. And I'm like, "Well, he said last week he was going to be at the show." Well, he ended up not being at the show, but I'm like, "He's going to be at the show." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And so come to find out, I wasn't sitting at the PSA booth. I was sitting at like a group subbers booth, but he had like a giant PSA sign. I'm like, "Oh," but he's from Chicago, and he's familiar with the Madison show and had been up there. So I'm like, "Well, here's my card. Come on up to the show sometime." And so we actually had a good conversation. Then I went over to some bargain boxes, and that was probably, I'm trying to think, that was probably the first bargain boxes I hit up at the show, probably the best at the show. And I bought a lot of PC stuff and a lot of inventory. So I bought more quantity for inventory. Quality was my Cubs PC. Let's go to the chat, and I'll keep talking about the Dallas Card Show, what I picked up. I can do a show and tell tomorrow. Obviously, I'm running late this morning as I'm lacking sleep, but that's okay. And tomorrow there will be a new coffee mug. I was craving water, and that was kind of the theme this weekend. It's like, I just need some water. I just need some water. And I got a Buc-Cees mug, so that'll debut tomorrow. Usually I drink water in the morning. Today I was like, I need coffee, but it's like I need water more than I need coffee right now. So, but I was gonna debut the Buc-Cees coffee mug, but I had to hit the water first. Florida baseball card dude, what's up? Good morning. Kyle is here. Good morning. The food looked really good in Oklahoma. Well, I tell you what, the pizza was awesome. And then we had Mexican yesterday for lunch. Authentic Mexican was delish. The food everywhere was awesome. Cooter knows where to eat, and we ate at some good spots. That's for sure. Dave, what's going on? BPC in the house. What's going on? Bushnell Prairie City. And speaking of high schools, man, my high school football team lost. Like all the teams that I thought that I was rooting for, that I wanted to win games, lost in the playoffs. So now we don't care about the high school football playoffs. Dan is here. What's going on? Welcome back. Hope you had a blast. It was more fun than I expected. Like, I expected to have a blast this weekend, but it was even more fun than I had expected. It was awesome. Herman's here. What's going on? Good morning. Thank you, sir. Glad you didn't get blown away. Me too. A little choppy at times, man. Red Light 34. What's going on? Good morning. I saw a couch. There was a couch in Cooter's Sky Chief Lounge from Red Light 34. Todd's in the house. Good morning. Welcome back. It looked like you had a great time with Cooter. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Johnny Boy Cards is here. Good morning. Herman says, I come up to Madison and worry about getting snowed in. You go to Oklahoma and have to worry about getting blown away. Ain't that the truth? Like here, it's like, oh, we're going to get a blizzard. In Oklahoma, it's like, oh, we got tornadoes rolling through. Cooter's here. What's going on? Long time no see. Glad to see I'm still able to log into your videos. Yeah, right. Another tornado rolling through Oklahoma this morning. Orlando, good morning. What's up? Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Your on the road episode was awesome. Thank you. We had a blast. We had to wait. It was a little delayed. We were waiting for the sunrise, and then finally popped. Stopped at a rest area. I'm like, okay, now I can get a quick thumbnail made and let's hit the live button. Merle, what's going on? Thank you, sir. Max says, be educated before you bid. Don't just bid to bid. That's right. Tomorrow is a big day in America. It's eBay Auction Tuesday. Please bid. Please bid. 99centcards.com. Johnny M, good morning. I saw the pictures. Johnny M, check out the Hobby Evolution Facebook page. If you're not already a member, just type in Hobby Evolution in your Facebook search bar, and we'll get you in. It's a private group to keep the troll. Not really necessarily the trolls, but the sex bots. Try to keep the troll. I keep calling them trolls. Keep the sex bots out. Johnny says, my best case of it ever. My Ellie De La Cruz Larkin double rip of 50 auction ends tonight. Currently $200. Very nice. Yeah, Johnny M's case. Like, I was happy with my case, and then I saw Johnny's case, and I'm like, fuck, you killed it. You absolutely crushed that case of Allen and Ginter. He got $530 for the Travis Scott auto. 3 more big hits still at Buy It Now, going to auction tomorrow night. Very nice. Very nice. Orlando says, great job, Cooter. And he's a good driver. Cooter's a good wheelman. Brian says, I tried to warn you about the storms. You did. I got your message as we were walking into the Dallas Card Show, and I showed your message to Cooter as we were walking in. And it's like, all right, I'll keep an eye on it. Max says, you get to complain. The rest of America is complaining today because it's Monday morning. It is Monday. I'm happy it's Monday. Like, I'm ready to get back to work and get some of my deals processed, my card pickups processed, and getting them out. We actually had a conversation yesterday. We were hanging out in the Sky Chief Lounge yesterday afternoon, and Cooter asked me if he's like, are you gonna do all Buy It Nows on what you got this weekend? Are you gonna do some auctions? And there's probably, I started sifting through some stuff. It's like, well, this is not a good auction. There's some good stuff that I can throw on auction. And I want to talk about this, just kind of my thoughts on deals in Dallas or lack thereof, and what I can, what I'm comfortable putting at auction. And I didn't really pick up much auction inventory. It's going to be a lot of Buy It Now stuff. So we can talk about that. Let's see. Mikey's here. What's going on? He's been working on improving his eBay store, trying to list vintage. I don't really know what is hot or people are looking for. Kind of like what's in the news, like what's hot. Like, baseball's not hot anymore. It was hot a week ago. You still might be able to get a jump on, some of the World Series players. I picked up a Giancarlo, formerly known as Mike Stanton rookie card. I got a great price on it. Like, even now that it's not a super liquid card anymore, it's still going to sell for profit. Vintage is liquid. Liquid card liquidity is what you're looking for on eBay, and it doesn't necessarily have to be hot. Vintage, if it's in good condition, which is, I got a ton of vintage yesterday at the card shop. Vintage is liquid, and it'll sell if it's priced right. I mean, you got to have good prices. But if good condition vintage will move. It's not going to sell in 6 hours in most cases, but it's a good trickle. And then just kind of, right now we're in a dead zone for baseball. Baseball's going to be slow for the next 2 months until it really starts to heat up in January. Football. This is like my least favorite time on eBay, November and December. And I think part of that reason is because I am heavy on baseball. And this is like the dead zone, but it's also dead in football because we're kind of in the middle. We're in the dog days of the season where you don't have the hype, the preseason hype, which is always the biggest in the market for whatever sport, that preseason hype. and you don't have the playoff hype for players that are in the playoffs. So we're in that just the dog days of eBay. Basketball. I don't know the basketball market enough. We just started the season about a week ago, so we're about a week into the basketball season. So it's just November and December are tough. I like to try to list random shit. Lots are typically a bigger seller this time of year. Any type of ephemera is good. Try to capitalize on the holiday season. So that's what November and early December are typically good for. Max says, if you're writing the flight off, which you should, you can complain about waking up and looking at cards. That's true. It was a business trip, like completely a business trip. I bought cards, bought inventory every single day. I actually was able to network and market the Madison Card Show. I talked to about 5 dealers. One from Minnesota, a couple from Chicago, one who set up at Brian's show in Quincy. He was the last dealer I bought from at the show on Saturday. And I'm wearing a Cubs shirt and a Cubs hat. And he's like, all right, Cubbies. And so he shows me his arm. He's got a Cubs tattoo. And I'm like, oh, nice. I'm like, are you from Chicago? He goes, no, I'm from downstate or whatever he said. And I'm like, oh, and I'm probably more familiar, if it's like, are you from Chicago? Yeah. Oh, cool. Awesome. Go Cubs. But if you're from like not Chicago, it's like, oh, where are you from? Because I probably know I can relate more to downstate than the city. And he's like, I'm from Quincy. And I'm like, oh, no shit. I'm like, did you set up at the Quincy show a couple weeks ago? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I helped Brian, answer questions setting up a card show. I run the Madison. He's like, oh, you run Madison? He's like, I want to get up there. And I'm like, so I bought a bunch of cards from him, gave him my card, talked to a couple other guys from Minnesota and Chicago. So I was able to market the Madison Card Show as well as get a lot of inventory also. Mikey says it's the eve before the big day tomorrow. Yes, it is eBay auction Tuesday. So bid wisely, but please bid wisely. Tomorrow is auction Tuesday. Stuke, what's going on? We missed Stuke. Stuke had family duties. Understand. He says, sounds like you had a great time. Sorry, I missed you guys. Only made the show on Friday. Yes, tornadoes, the Oklahoma experience. Yes, it was. Max has the biggest hot take. Not even a hot. This is just a bad take. Max has a terrible take. Dumbest thing I've read on the internet this week. Barbecue is not barbecue. I understand. So the second sentence here, let's break down Max's comment. The first sentence, barbecue is like one of the biggest false statements I've ever heard. Barbecue is not all barbecue is not the same. Now, the second comment is an opinion. So we can respect the opinion that it's decent, but nothing special. I can accept that. We all have different tastes. That's an opinion. That's okay. Barbecue is not barbecue. I've never had Texas barbecue until Saturday. Holy motherfucking shit. That was the best barbecue that I've ever had. And I'm like, before I go to town, I'm like, Texas barbecue. I'm like poo-pooing Texas barbecue. I'm like, Of course, this is a guy that boiled ribs about a month ago. And I'm thinking, Texas, it's not going to hold a candle to Kansas City, man. KC masterpiece. It's not going to hold a Kansas City candle. Or Memphis. I've had Memphis barbecue. Delicious. Motherfuck. Hutchins barbecue, McKinney, Texas. God damn. That's some good barbecue. Holy hell. I took the first bite and I was in heaven. It was, as Cooter put it, a meatgasm. And we got some brisket, we got some pork ribs, and we got some sausage. And it was all good. And I'm not a big sausage guy. I'm not really big on the sausage. And it was good. It was good. The brisket. Oh my God. I didn't even have, and of course they give you a side of sauce. I didn't need that. This barbecue stood on its own. Oh my God. So thank you to everybody who recommended Hutchins. I think Uncle Rich and Steph and Angela from ComC, we hung out with them for a little bit. They recommended it. So it was an amazing barbecue. Oh my God, it was so good. We could smell it from 2 blocks away. We're driving up, hit a stoplight, like, I smell it. It's got to be close. You could smell it from 2 blocks away. Brian says, I can't agree less with Max, LOL. Mikey says, check out his eBay store if you need, excuse me, sharp 1977 and 1979 Topps baseball. There you go. Low Roller Scratcher. Welcome back. What's up? Do you ever buy cryptocurrency trading cards? Oh, I forgot to take the picture. There's a Bitcoin ATM at the card shop we were at yesterday. I forgot to take a picture while I was there. Dan says, how you feeling? To Mikey. John's in the house. He's telling me I was in group 5 last night, man. I moved up in the world. I was group 8 on the flight out. I honestly didn't know they went that high in numbers. I thought like stopped at like 6 or 5 or 4. I was in group 8 on the way there, group 5 on the way back. Brian says Reed Timmer is a great watch during storms. Yeah, he's a good storm chaser. Where we at? Mikey says, I'm really anxious and super tired and sore right now. Well, get better. Orlando says, good morning to Keating. Don't make eye contact with rows 1 through 4 on your way by and stay on your side of the curtain. Our shitter is off limits. John's the nose in the air, elite status. I just walked by the peasants, looked down. Embarrassed by my commoner status. Mikey says, good morning, John and Korean Cardboard and everyone. How are you guys doing? All I've been wanting to do is sleep lately. Sometimes that's what the body just needs. Brian's here. What's going on? Good morning. Todd says Twisters is streaming on Peacock in a couple weeks. Perfect. I've got Peacock and I'll be able to watch Twisters in a couple weeks. I'll finish in a couple weeks. I'll forget. I'll totally have forgotten about the first 30 minutes that I watched on the flight last night. Brian says, I almost forgot. How about those Hawkeyes? The Badgers made them look good. Yeah, I didn't follow anything. I looked. I didn't even know who they're playing. So apparently they played Iowa. What else? My high school team, I checked in. They lost. So it's like, screw it. Didn't pay attention. We had the Lions-Packers game on. That was great. Packers were getting stomped. Love to see it. Bears also got stomped, which I'm accepting. So let's talk a little football real quick. I didn't watch much football yesterday, but I saw the Bears score. Didn't watch any of the game. I was wrong. The Bears are not going to win 10 games this season. In fact, I think Brian's going to be closer to accurate on his 5-win prediction. The Bears they're 4-4 now, I think. They started hot. They were 4-2. They've got a tough schedule the rest of the way. I still think they'll get to 5 wins. They should get to 6 wins. But I think they're going to be closer to 5 than 10 now that more of the season is almost half the season is played out. Yikes. Head's going to roll. Max says, it's okay, BJ. I don't really care if people agree with me or not. Key to life. Not in high school anymore. No popularity contest. Mikey says, all I think about when I think of Oklahoma is the Oklahoma City bombing since I watched a documentary over it. Yeah, Cooter showed me the memorial to the bombing, and I couldn't believe how much that bombing impacted every nearby not even nearby buildings, but far away buildings. It was something else. And I think I was homesick from school that day. I remember the breaking news coverage because it happened, I think, in April. I would have been in junior high. I think I was in 7th grade, maybe 8th grade when that happened. And for some reason, I remember, I guess it could have been like Easter break or spring break. I think we could still call it Easter break back then. But yeah, I was either homesick or we were on some sort of teacher's institute or break or something. Lewis says, Dr. Beckett at bargain bins. Oh, man, Dr. Beckett is the king of bargain bins. You should get the Beckett auto card graded at PSA. It'd be worth more, Max says. Yeah, it would. It would be. Let's see. Low Roller says I got featured on Sports Illustrated. Offbeat All-Star says, I went to a neighbor's house to help price out her collection, found out it was her son's collection. He passed away earlier this year from leukemia. That's sad. Collection was all 95, 96 collector's choice. Ooh, that's sad also. Only thing of value was a few MJ cards. Told her the value was maybe $40 to $50. She gave them to me for my troubles. Well, that's cool. So that ended up being a nice gesture. Mr. Archer, good morning. Talked with her for another 45 minutes about her son. It was a very surreal experience. Max says coffee is water. What? Oh, Max just did one up. He one-upped his own bad take. Troy, good morning. Mikey says, what type of buyers were there at the show and how were the dealers willing to make deals? Thank you, Mikey. He's getting us back on track. So I don't really know what type of buyers were there. So I would say I've never been to the Dallas Card Show. So like I only have my experience from Saturday is the only gauge I have. I thought it was awesome. Like I thought it was a great show. I know people that were going in 2021, 2022 would probably say, oh, it sucks now because the energy's down and all that. But I still had a great time. I bought a lot of cards. I enjoyed it. I hung out with people and friends from the hobby, and I had a blast. I'd go back, and I want to go back. It was a lot of fun. In terms of what type of buyers were there, you know, I was standing at a bargain box. Jeff Wilson was at the table next to me doing his videos, and so you know you had the content creator types. You know, you had bargain box people. You had a little bit of everything. Now, from what I can tell you about dealers willing to make deals, they were not willing to make deals. Holy shit. I've never been to a card show where I couldn't get more than like 10% off a bulk deal. It's not like I was buying a slab, Victor Wembanyama slab and trying to get better on price. I'm buying like $200 cards and it's like $200 and I'm like, the dealers didn't even offer like a discount. Like it's like $1 a card. That's what your price is. And I'm like, can you do 180? And they're like, yeah. I had one I was filling out and I actually have to go through my binder because I know I've got some of the cards that are still on my list. But I filled out some commons from a common box. And the sticker price was $23. And the dealer goes, 23. And I go, how about 20? And he just kind of goes, okay. I'm like, really? Like, really? I mean, as a dealer myself, when somebody has 23, and I'm going to give them a deal anyway, but $23, I'm going to charge them 20 so I don't have to deal with 3 $1 bills. And I know that's silly from a business standpoint. It is. I understand that. But it's like, let's just make it easy on the both of us and call it an even 20. And so I was like, that was probably my biggest, like, what? Yeah, like, I mean, if you were able to get 15 to 20% off, even in volume, and I understand, like, I'm new to all of these dealers. Like, I didn't buy from anybody that I've ever bought from before. So I'm sure if I'm a regular, they're going to be more willing to deal and offer better deals. But there were not any deals to be had. And another thing, like I was looking for like auction inventory, like in bargain boxes, like $5 and $10 and $20 cards. And I'm going through and I'm like, oh, this would be perfect for auction. See, I don't know. Like I can go through a dollar box and I know what I can make money on. And sure, sometimes I'm taking a gamble, a dollar gamble on some of these cards. But for the most part, I know, okay, I know this will sell for $3 to $5. I'm going to make a little margin on this. But when it comes to like some of the $10 and $20 stuff, it's like it might only sell for $10 or it might only sell for $5. So I'm going through and I see there's some cards that I see. So I don't like comping right in front of the table. I'll just walk away. I'll keep a note, a mental note. I'll walk a few steps and then I'll go to eBay and look it up. And there was a Spud Webb 86 Fleer rookie PSA 7. And I think the price was like $50. And I go to eBay and there's one, you could buy it now for 45. And I'm like, Jesus. So then it's like, I wonder if I can find it. So then I'm going through and I'm like, if I can find enough and make an offer and get these prices down to where I can at least make some margin. But I just didn't find enough where there's meat on the bone. So I think probably the first dealer that I bought from, I got the best stuff, and some of the best deals were for my PC. And I got some other good deals sprinkled throughout from an inventory standpoint. But I think that first table, because I got a little bit of everything: dollar cards, $3 autos, and then some like $5 to $15 stuff. So there might be some cards in there that I can throw on auction and be okay with it. He gave me a good deal. He's a buddy of Uncle Rich, and Uncle Rich told him to hook me up, and he did. So thank you, Uncle Rich, and thank you to that dealer. I got his card. Ron, I think his name's Ron, but he gave me a good deal. So that was the only deal I got. I had to fight tooth and nail just to get a bulk deal. But from that standpoint, it's like it was not a good bargain box show for me. And there's two reasons for it. Number one, I was there on Saturday. Like, the good stuff, the best stuff is going to be well picked through Thursday and Friday. So when I do, and I will go back to Dallas and who knows when it will be. It might be next year. It might be in 2 years, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Ooh, that's a terrible Arnold. But I'll be back. And I'll do like Thursday, Friday. Like I'll do probably another quick like 3-day deal, but I'll just do Thursday and Friday. So I can be there at the beginning. And I'll be there more than one day. Like I did need more than one day, but it was okay. Like I told Cooter, like it wasn't like this trip was kind of like all encompassing. It wasn't just to go to Dallas and buy cards. I wanted to go to Dallas, experience it. We were there all day. We were there like the full day. That was great. But I wanted to get, it was more about just, hanging out with Uncle Rich and Steph and Angela and seeing Dr. Beckett and of course Cooter. I saw Texas Card Dude. So it was more of, just kind of a hangout through, with cards and all that. But yeah, when I go back, it'll definitely be more than one day and I'll go early. So I think the deals that, I didn't get was the main reason was I was there Saturday as opposed to Thursday and Friday. So, it's the stuff I'm looking through is the best stuff is picked over. And then also being there more than one day and having been there before, like I know where to go. Like it was pretty foreign territory, though. Shane directed me to the booths. Cooter had some suggestions, Uncle Rich. So like I had people to bounce like, hey, where should I go for what I'm looking for? So I was fortunate in that regard. But if I had like a second day, I could spend more time. Like I didn't want to spend half the day at one table. Like, and I spent a good amount of time at various tables. And I didn't get to see the whole show. And so, having a second day and knowing the lay of the land will help me at a future show. So there were not deals to be had. There were not deals there. And that's kind of what I've heard about the Dallas show. It's like, oh, you're not going to get any deals down there. And so that's It wasn't a surprise, I guess. It wasn't, I guess it was a surprise for what I buy. I'm not surprised that like slabs are not discounted, but I was surprised I didn't get better deals on volume, especially on Saturday, because it's not, I picked out good stuff, but it's not like I was picking up the best stuff. Good morning, Troy. What's going on? AA Cards in the house. Good morning. Brian says, nothing is angrier than an Oklahoma tornado rolling through a trailer park. Yeah. Yikes. Troy says, I have the Toronto Sports Expo this weekend. I was sick last April, so missed it. Have fun in Toronto. I've saved my month's budget for buying for this show, but won't buy unless the deal is right. I went over budget this weekend, and it was actually like going into the weekend, I'm like, am I actually going to spend this much money? And I put a good dent in it. Actually, no, I only spent, I think, $85 on Friday. I think Friday's card shop in Oklahoma City was probably pound for pound the best buy from like just isolating each dealer I bought from at the card shops, the two we went to, and the card show individual transactions. I think the first day Friday at MM7 in Moore, Oklahoma, I think that was the best deal I got from what I got and what I paid. But I'm thinking, well, that's $85 down from my budget. Am I going to spend the rest of this? And then, I did buy some PC stuff too. So I spent like almost $200 on one card. So, I put a good dent. And then yesterday's card shop run, I think it was over 300. So I think I went over my budget by almost $200, I think, is what I went over over budget. Dan says that hat makes you 5 years younger. Well, hey, thank you. I don't really I don't look good in red and blue hats. Like, that's why I always wear white hats or black hats. I feel like the blue and red make me look like a kid. So, and Dan points it out here. Troy says, this is my national. I think Cooter's coming to the national in 2025 in Chicago. I think he's going to make it happen. Because I put the bug, obviously he's had the bug in his ear, but I was really I'm like, the Hobby Evolution get together 2 years ago. We had a lot of fun. You can meet a lot of these people. It's easy to get in. O'Hare's right across the street. And I think even his wife mentioned, you're going to the, I think he was talking to his wife and she said, and he said, yeah, a lot of people were asking if I'm going to the national. And I think her response was, you're going to end up going. So hopefully we can get Cooter to Chicago for the national next year. We'll have another Hobby Evolution get together. Johnny M says, always nice to get home. Went to pro boxing match and casino with my son this weekend. He's an amateur boxer. We had a blast. Came home to lots of sales. That's good. That is good. Allen and Ginter, it's moving, man. Mikey says, I started a 10% off sale, list price, and 40% off 5 or more in an order. Nice. Max says, you've seen an Oklahoma newspaper. Don't care what was written. Can't be more dumb than my statement. I didn't see an Oklahoma newspaper. Let's see. Where are we at? Mikey's in the house. We know Mikey's in the house. I was looking at Alex. Alex is in the house. No movement on sales for Mikey. Alex is in the house. He's like, boiled ribs? Oh, man. Have you ever had boiled ribs? Like short ribs. I'm not talking like on the rack. I'm talking short ribs, spare ribs, country style ribs, however you call it, whatever you call it. Boil them for like an hour and a half. Slather a little barbecue sauce. Put them in the oven for a few minutes. Woo! Boil them ribs. Mikey's lost on what else to do. List good cards at good prices, and sales will come. Good liquid cards, lower than comps, and you will make sales. So then that's why the key is that's why the most important part is to buy. It's not a race to the bottom necessarily. It could be. But it doesn't matter if you're buying it. Say you have a $10 card. Say the comps on the card are $10. If you can get it in a bundle deal and get it for $5, $6, $7. $7 is kind of if it's selling for 10. But if you can find those bulk buys and you can get it at half the comps, then you can undercut the competition. And especially if you find say you can look through quarter boxes, you can find it. Maybe if you're lucky, find a $10, $20 card in a 25-cent box or even a $1 box, and you can undercut. It's like, well, it's last sold are all $10. If you price it at $8, and it's a liquid card, it'll eventually sell. Patience is also, you have to be patient for those sales to come in. My 2 cents. Brian says 5 wins. I'm sad to say it. They may not make it to 6. I'm hoping they better. They better. That would be like the ultimate fail, because that would be, oh man, I'm still a little tired. Can I do this math? So that would be 11. So if they only win 5 games, that would mean they finished the season 1-11, because they started out 4-2. They got to win more than 1 game. Alex says, I bought a lot over the weekend that had 54 33 Gaudy cards in it. Really cool stuff. That's a hell of a lot. Woo. That sounds fun. Let's see. Merle says, you better become a sausage guy if you don't want to piss off your neighbors. I'm a Bears fan. I've already pissed the neighbors off. Max says, very true. The entire city of Madison, not just his neighbors. That's okay. I'm a Bears fan in Wisconsin. I put ketchup on my hot dogs, so I pissed off all of Chicago. So that's what I do. I just piss off cities. Max says, what do you put in your coffee maker, dumbass? Coffee. Actually, I don't even put anything. I don't put anything in my coffee maker anymore. I don't use my coffee maker. Let's see. I mean, that's like saying beer is water. It's like saying like everything is water-based for the most part. Brian says it's because they all knew you as the Goodwill Trout guy. They want that fish money. Bastards. Duke says Hutchins brisket is great on their bread the next day, just in case you couldn't eat it all that night. We didn't have that problem. We made sure to clean our plates. Actually, I think we did leave one piece of rib. Let's see. I was pretty full. Mikey says that sounds like shows around me. You know, I was telling a buddy of mine who digs through bargain boxes around here, and I'm like, honestly, I get better deals. I get better bulk deals and find better stuff at like Madison and Janesville and Rockford. By the way, I'll be in Rockford this Saturday. I'll be set up. What the hell am I bringing Saturday? I don't even know what I'm bringing, but I will be set up at the Rockford Card Show. I haven't been in Rockford in several months. So I begged and pleaded Mike to let me back in. I'm like, you got a spot for me? I know I haven't been in a long time. Can you squeeze me in, please? Pretty please. And they allowed it. They're like, yes, we will let you in. So I'll be in Rockford this Saturday for the card show. I'll be set up, probably bringing quarter boxes. So, and what I have left of dollar boxes. So I haven't, and I won't have a chance to really, maybe some Allen and Ginter that I don't get. I still have to list Allen and Ginter. Like I've got a lot of it up, but I've got some inserts, some minis still to list. I think that's about it. But I mean, there's a lot, like all the minis I still have, with the exception of a couple that I listed, and all the inserts. But all the base, all the chrome, all the silver foils, those are all listed. All the hits, those are all in my eBay store. Merle says, Beckett beat you to the best bargain box stuff. He did. But I think he's mainly looking for football. I think Dr. Beckett's mainly a football guy. But I was able to find even in those boxes at that table, I think that was probably my second best buy of the Dallas Card Show, just from terms of what I paid and what I got. Cooter says, just went through my binder again. Love it. Team binder. So I brought a binder for Cooter just for hosting me, his great hospitality, and putting a stranger up in his house for a couple days. So I brought him a binder, and I tried to curate it best I could. And because Cooter's a Giants collector, so I wanted, and I kind of, just from what he buys in my eBay store, I kind of know what he's looking for. I filled it with some stuff that I knew he had, but I wanted to curate a cool binder for him, a Giants binder. So that's what Cooter's referencing here, going through the binder. And Cooter gave me the OKC hat. What I really love is the 84 lineup card, Oklahoma City 89ers versus the Iowa Cubs, with a young player by the name of Joe Carter in the Iowa Cubs lineup. Billy Hatcher was leadoff. So thank you, Cooter, for the gifts as well. Anthony Thomas Experience says, good morning. With me getting into selling sports cards, the hardest thing is pricing the cards. Amen. I check eBay sold listings, any other areas to look for pricing. That's your best bet. eBay solds, and that's what I tell people. eBay solds are gonna give you the best idea. If it's vintage, if it's anything post or pre 1980, anything vintage, you can grab a Beckett or a price guide. That's going to give you a good gauge because the prices on vintage aren't going to fluctuate too much, as long as it's a modernish shit. You could even find like a year-old Beckett, and it's going to give you pretty current pricing on a good gauge. Now, modern stuff, you're going to have to do the eBay sold searches and see what stuff's selling for online. That'll give you the best bet for that stuff. But that's and you're just getting into selling cards. I've been doing it for a while, and that's my hardest thing, is like, comping cards. That's what I love about some of the auctions that I run. There's so many cards, and many of you have gotten deals out of my eBay store. Make sure you follow it, 99centcards.com, because sometimes I don't comp stuff. I just put it, this is going to be $1.75, or this is going to be $2.50. And it's a lot higher than that in reality. Like there was the David DeCastro black refractor, or was it black, or I think it was the black or gold. It was a gold refractor. The black refractor sold for like $1.25. The gold sold for like $46. And that would have been a $2. I would have put that in my eBay store. If I was just listing cards, I would have put that, it's a refractor number to 50. I'll price this at $250. And it sold for like $46. And it was paid for. So that's the part I love about auctions, is the stuff that I just don't like. Hockey and soccer, like, I'm just going to throw this on auction. And like, because I typically don't, like, I'm not digging through boxes. Like, when it comes to soccer, hockey, like, and to some extent non-sport, like, that's just to me, that's like, I'm not pricing that out when I'm buying a collection or buying a bulk box or buy. That's just kind of throwing, like, I'm pricing it based on what I know, the basketball, football, baseball, and to a lesser extent, basketball, and really kind of to an extent, football. I'm usually just basing it on baseball because I know I can comp that out in my head very quickly. And then just kind of guesstimate the rest of the stuff. And then throw it. It's like, I pretty much don't have anything into this, so I'm just going to let it ride on 99-cent auction. Sometimes it sells for 99 cents, and sometimes it sells for $46. So but yeah, your best bet, eBay solds, is going to be your best bet. Unless it's vintage, then you can grab a Beckett magazine and look up some of those prices, and that'll give you a good gauge on where you're at. Orlando says, can't wait to meet the Hobby Evolution team at the National. Don't let us down, Cooter. Yes, Cooter, come on down. And I'm looking forward to meeting Orlando next year at the National. Merle says, which nights are the Hobby Evolution trade nights at the National? I think we're just going to kind of we're going to let everyone decide what the best night is going to be, just so it works. Because because I know there's, Thursday night. It will not be Thursday night because that's like the YouTuber get together. So we won't go up against that. We won't do Wednesday night because the show runs late. And and most people aren't, if they're in, it's like we're at the show late. So I would say Friday or Saturday night. So I guess we're kind of winnowing it down. So I guess it's going to be up. We'll put it up for conversation, vote, whatever. Either Friday night or Saturday night. I think those are going to be the only 2 days to choose from. And if other people have Saturdays open or Fridays open, it's kind of be like, okay, well, most people can do Friday night, most people can do Saturday, whichever. We did Saturday last time, 2 years ago in 2023. We did Saturday night at Shoeless Joe's just down the street from the convention center. So I'd say probably a Saturday night because a lot of the people that don't come in for the whole week, will come in for either a Friday or Saturday. So I think those nights work. But like as Jordan says, Saturdays are tough because dealers feel like it's the best. I think we're talking about the card show, but Saturdays can be tough from a get together standpoint because some people fly out Saturday. They just skip the show altogether on Sunday. So we'll just once we get closer to next summer, we'll talk it out and be and just kind of say, okay, are you guys free on Friday night or Saturday night? And we'll just whatever night has the most availability, we'll roll with that. I don't do anything at night with the exception of this probably. Only a couple times have I done like events after the show. Usually I'm so tired from my back hurts from looking at baseball cards all day that I just want to go. There's nothing else that I want to do after an entire 12-hour day of looking at baseball cards than to go back to my hotel room and look at more baseball cards from what I bought. So yeah, we'll decide as we get closer. Jordan says Saturdays are tough because dealers feel like it's the best day for traffic. But this is a good point. This is a really good point why there may not have been the deals on Saturday because it is typically the highest traffic day because you get the one day, the guys like me that are coming in for one day only. Well, we're not going to give you the deals because it's Saturday and we get a lot more traffic today. That pay just face value and not haggle. Sundays are my best day to buy bulk or that last hour on Saturday night. Yeah. And I thought about as it was Saturday, like at the end, there were a couple dealers that had some boxes where I like to go is finding those dealers that are not bargain box dealers. Because sometimes if a showcase dealer has a couple bargain boxes where do bargain box buyers typically go? To where the boxes are. And then they're crowded with other competition. But if you could find that showcase dealer who's got nothing but showcases, and then he's got a few like $5 boxes on the side, that's where the gold can be. Because his $5 card could be a $20 card. He's just like, I just want to blow this out. So I'm always on the lookout for that. And there was a dealer that was predominantly a showcase dealer, but he did have quite a few, and he had more bargain boxes than just a couple. But it's like I'm going through the baseball boxes, and they were priced at comps. Basically, it's like, well, if I could buy the whole box and get like, pay like $1 a card or $2 a card max, I could, make this work. But it's like, I'll wait till later. And I just got to the point where it's like, I don't even want to waste my time. And I don't want to negotiate. I did one negotiation on Saturday. I bought a 1955 Topps doubleheader, Ernie Banks, Howie Pollette. Unfortunately, Ernie Banks is just on the small picture on the back. So it's just Howie Pollette. And so I'm like, I think it's an SGC 2.5. And so I had a price in mind, and I'll just tell you the price. I had a price in mind. It's like, I'm willing to pay $200 for this card. And so the dealer's looking through comps, and this is a dealer from Minnesota who might come do my show here upcoming. And so he's looking up comps, and as he's reciting the comps, it's like, this might be a little lower than I expected. Because I was thinking like My price was like 200. It's like, man, is he going to want like 250 for this? So in my mind, it was 200. He goes, it was just kind of the comps were kind of all over the place because they're not too common. So he comes up with 190. And I'm like, I'll do 180. And he's like, we're both kind of just guessing. Let's meet in the middle, 185. And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, it was a very simple negotiation, but I still hate the back and forth. It's like, but at the end of the day, I was willing to pay 200. So I was able to get an extra $5 off. So I think we both left happy. Cooter says, definitely want to make it. Have one daughter graduating high school and one graduating college next summer. Ah, yes. It's going to be a busy summer. Don't know what dad duties will be around the National. Well, hopefully you can make it. I know everybody wants to meet you. Jordan says, any random people come up to you? I don't think so. I don't think any random people. I did have a conversation with, I went up to a vintage dealer and I was looking for pre-war Cubs, and he just had like 52 up. And so I went and I was looking at the dealer next to him, and he's like, he's like, you got some good vintage in your backpack? And I'm like, to sell, he said. You got any good vintage to sell in your backpack? And I'm like, I've got some good vintage, but I'm not going to sell. And so he's like, well, let's see. I just like looking at cards. So I showed him what I had picked up. And so we're talking. And so I showed him, and I go, I think we were talking about Cubs. And I said, and I showed him the Superfractor. And I said, in this, you may not have seen this before. I just subbed this to PSA. And he's like, you're the Cubs guy. He's like, oh, I watch you on YouTube sometimes. I'm like, oh, sweet. So that was cool. So let's talk about the PSA experience. So this, I learned firsthand why I just go to a group subber. And I hear people like poo-poo on group submissions for PSA. It's like, my God, I don't want to ever submit anything on my own again. After the experience, it was an okay experience. The customer service at the PSA booth on Saturday was phenomenal. But it's just the process, and it's like, okay, like I've never submitted to PSA before. I've only submitted a handful of cards to PSA, and it was through my group subber. He did all the work. It was easy, and I paid less. I paid, I think, $19. I'm paying like $40 for my Superfractor because it's like $24.99 plus I got to pay shipping. Shipping's included in my group sub. So, I get it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. They're like, you can use our computers over here, or it might be faster. Just download the app and do it. So I'm like, oh, I'll download the app. And that was actually pretty easy. Well, then when I get to it, I had the 5 autographs. Like, oh, this has got to be dual authentication. So you're going to have to redo it. I'm like, so I go back and I cancel that order out, and I go back, and dual authentication is not available through the app. And I'm like, fuck it. I'll just submit these through my group sub and pay less. And I'm not worried. Like the Superfractor, I did want to drop that off. Like I didn't want, now it's going to be mailed back to me. But at least I eliminate many different, other things could happen, to it. I'd rather just drop it off to PSA at the PSA booth and then only have to worry about the return shipping. So I get back in line and I get the Superfractor, and I'm like, dual authentication is not available on the app. And they're like, oh yeah, not everything's, you can go over the computer. And I'm like, no, I'll do it another time. So that's like, I thought about dropping off at SGC, and I'm like, no, I don't want to waste any more time standing in a grading booth. So I got the Superfractors off to PSA, and then I'll sub the 5 other cards when I see Matt from 5 Star Cards at maybe the next Madison card show, November 30th. Words in the house. What's going on? Point. Mikey says, hopefully I can afford to go to it next year. Yeah, hopefully we can meet Mikey next year at the National. Saturday is usually the big trade night, unfortunately. I don't think most of us do trade nights. Last time at the National, I don't think anybody skipped for trade night. So I know I'm not going to any trade nights. Brian says, hopefully no weddings for Cooter. That's the expensive stuff. I'm sure he'd rather have the marriage expense than a year of college expense. Yeah. PSA is very simple to use. You were the problem here. Still blows my mind. There were people that waited in line at the National. I had my shit ready to go and took less than 30 seconds. I just take my stuff to Matt at 5-star cards and boom. Don't you think you should fly out to pick the superfractor back up? No, I do not. Cooter says, my SGC submission was a breeze at the Dallas card show. It would have been even easier had I preloaded my cards. Oh, yeah. See, and I don't have, I just use group subs, and I don't have any accounts. So Max says, true, I think the age limit on trade nights is 40. Well, good, because I don't want to be around you millennials. I don't want to be around you Pelican case bros at trade night. Merle says, above or under? It's for the little kids. The little kid Pokemon collectors go to trade night. The little kids collecting their Pokemon cards, they're doing trade nights. The adults are having dinner and intelligent conversation. That's what the over 40 crowd is doing. All right. I'm going to wrap things up because I have a lot of shit to ship. We're shipping shit today. So if you did place an order in my eBay store since Friday, well, really Thursday afternoon, I'll be getting to your orders. We'll just start from the oldest outstanding order and working my way. Thank God for 3 business day handling, because I'm going to need every single hour of that 3 business day handling this week. So if you want to overwhelm me even more, I'd welcome it. 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price. That's in the buy it now section. Save 25% off at checkout. Tomorrow, don't forget, it's a very important day. It is eBay auction day. So please get out and bid. Get out and bid tomorrow. We'll go live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. We'll count down the auctions ending tomorrow night. I think I do have auctions ending Wednesday and Thursday night of this week. Oh, and I've got 4 Allen and Ginter auctions ending tonight. The biggest hits were at auction right now. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. That's what I had for today. I'm going to go make some mushroom coffee in my new Buc-Cees mug that I'll have to debut tomorrow. We'll do a little show and tell. I'll share what I picked up at the National. I'll show you what I picked up at the Dallas Card Show and Kirby's, the card shop in Oklahoma City, and MM7, the card shop in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So we'll do a little show and tell tomorrow morning. Again, Cooter, I can't thank you enough for the hospitality and the fun times. It was just a great time in Oklahoma City and in Dallas, and some amazing Texas barbecue on Saturday night. So with that, I'm going to get to work. Have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow morning.